recording.
Welcome to Visordown, I'm Alex, and today we're looking at two sports tourers that are fresh on the scene, and we're putting them head to head to see which one comes out on top. As you'd have seen, we're looking at the Honda NT1100 and the Yamaha Tracer 9GT. Now, the sports touring world is seriously heating up right now, and all of the big players in the industry are keen to get their rendition of a big tourer out there for all to enjoy. The big four from Japan in particular, with these two machines that we're looking at joined by the Suzuki GSX-S1000GT and the recently revealed Kawasaki H2 SX. But today we're looking at just the two, and I was lucky enough to be on the press launch for both, so I have a bit of hands-on experience to pit them against each other. Whilst being almost worlds apart in what they offer, they do provide slightly different approaches to the do-it-all touring market. Now, I'll compare the spec on the two of them with key comparisons for the engine, handling, touring capabilities, spec and electronics, the fun factor, a few words on style, the price, and finally pick my winner. So, Honda NT1100 versus Yamaha Tracer 9GT. Let's go. Engine. Now, we'll start with the engine specs to get us off the line, literally. Both bikes borrow a motor from elsewhere in their respective ranges. The Honda NT1100 taking the 1084cc parallel twin, as known from the Africa Twin, with the Yamaha Tracer 9GT housing the famed CP3 triple from the MT09, where it was birthed as an MT09 variant back in 2014, but has now really come into its own. Throwing specs against each other like some sort of top trumps or Yu-Gi-Oh battle off is a bit unfair, but I'll go for it anyway. Now, the NT1100 has a 270-degree crank, providing peak power figures of just over 100 brake horsepower at 7,500 revs and 104 newton meters of torque, or 76.7 pound-feet at 6,250 revs. The Tracer 9GT has a slightly smaller 890cc CP3 or crossplane triple motor, but it revs higher and it provides 117 brake horsepower at 10,000 revs and 93 newton meters of torque, or 68.5 pound-foot at 7,000 revs. Off the bat and on paper, it's surprisingly close, but on the road they feel quite distinctly different. The Tracer can really put down power effortlessly, and that triple motor is superb fun to ride. With varying rider modes to pick from, you can effortlessly cruise 2 up with luggage for a chill tour, or you can tuck in and put the Bridgestone Battle Axe T32 tyres to task. It all starts to feel a little bit leery and unreal fun. Now over to the NT, and it can certainly push on with its 270-degree crank. But riding with the DCT in its auto setting, and you may find it often erring on the side of smooth and calm, and perhaps even eco-friendly. Now, don't get me wrong, thousands of riders will attest to this being a great tool, as seen in the Africa Twin. But catch it at low revs, and you can find yourself chugging away until the revs tick up to the mid-range, where you start getting a bit more pull. And it has Metzeler Roadtech 01 hoops, if you were wondering. Nice and sticky. So, winner of this heat, I'll have to go with the Tracer 9GT personally, just for its leery attitude. But if you're happy with a calmer ride, you will not be disappointed with the NT. Now, handling. Both bikes are tremendously easy to ride. You're positioned upright and neutral on both, and overall it's a happy place to be for long stints on motorways or a bit more off-piste riding. I'll touch on the touring elements next, but there is a clear winner for handling here, and let me explain why. Now, the NT, despite its 238 kilogram or 248 with the DCT fitted weight, the front end feel is superb in corners. It feels planted and sure-footed in all conditions, and most of the weight is carried low on this bike. An 820mm seat and semi-double cradle steel frame with a bolted-on aluminium subframe is paired with 43mm Showa big piston forks with preload adjust. It has 150mm stroke and an aluminium monoblock swing arm with the ProLink Showa damper. Preload adjust and 150mm travel there too. It's smooth and effortless to ride with, the suspension doesn't dive under any normal braking, and it's seriously impressive. It feels versatile and stable, and the twin radially mounted 4 piston calipers with the 3 10mm discs up front, 256mm disc on the rear, with those 17-inch wheels, and it's all dialed in superbly. Moving to the Tracer, it's certainly more sporty. I did notice riders' legs begin to cramp up, as mine were, at the end of our 2-day test ride in Wales, but it does boast an adjustable 810 to 825mm seat to accommodate rider preference, and you can adjust it on the fly in about a minute if you know what you're doing. The wet weight is 220 kilograms, and the CF die-cast aluminium Delta box frame allows for a truly nimble character. The swing arm is 64mm longer than the previous gen for a little bit more stability, and it boasts a 6-axis IMU with lean-sensitive rider aids. But the party piece here really is the KYB semi-active suspension. It's fully adjustable front and rear, 130mm front travel and 137mm rear, and it will automatically perfectly set itself up for you each time you jump on. The 17-inch wheels are fitted with a twin 298mm front disc and a single 245mm rear, and braking is sharp with spin-forged wheels. That basically means that there's less unsprung weight. On the road, it felt exceptionally light, and you can swap about the suspension modes on the fly to adjust to the current roads, all through the dash. So, on second thoughts, maybe there isn't really a clear winner here, but purely based on my current opinion, I'd say the NT1100 takes it. It just felt that bit more sure-footed and easy to ride, and from a touring perspective especially, ease of riding can sometimes edge out that bit of sporty character. But you certainly can't knock the electronic rider-aided excellence of the Tracer 9 GT. So, touring capabilities. The bread and butter of these machines really, both are decked out for touring, but let's start with the Tracer 9 GT. You've got an 18-litre fuel tank that's reported to give you just over 200 miles range, 10-step heated grips to keep yourself nice and toasty, and hard side cases utilising a fully floating carrier system that will fit a full helmet. And that floating carrier system basically means that you don't notice the panniers there much. The 2021 Tracer Twin 3.5-inch TFT screen is said to resemble a fighter jet's dials, and I think it looks more like the fella from Up, but it displays that basic info in an LCD format. The adjustable screen is alright, but it can get a little bit windy behind there, even when you're tucked in behind it. Whilst the NT1100 has a larger 20.4 litre tank, it does also have a claimed 250 mile range to empty. It also has 5-step heated grips, and the 6.5-inch touchscreen is an absolute delight. It has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay connectivity, and a dedicated Africa Twin display underneath to always relay your speed. The panniers are a little bit smaller, and they won't fit a large helmet in there, but the adjustable screen does work really well and helps create that weatherproof cocoon that you may want on a tour. Riding 2-up on either machine promises supreme comfort. And to be fair, it's just 2 different approaches on these bikes, but I think the NT1100 just pips it here. The screen is a game changer, and for me, that just edges it past the Yamaha. So far, midway for those keeping score, the NT1100 slips into the lead here 2-1. Now let's speed this up a little bit. Electronics and spec. As mentioned, the Tracer 9 GT has a supreme electronic setup with 6-axis IMU, semi-active suspension, an up-down quick shifter, LED cornering lights, and cruise control. And the NT1100 boasts its unique dual-clutch transmission setup, which can be flicked to manual or auto depending on your mood, and it works incredibly well, clicking through gears faster than a quick shifter ever can dream of. It does have cruise control, but it doesn't have the 6-axis IMU that was present on the Africa Twin. Honda simply said that they didn't find it necessary to include here. But winner for electronics and that little bit more spec, I'd say the Tracer 9 GT, 2-2. So, fun factor, which is simply more fun to ride. Now, without diving into spec here, I think fun factor realistically comes down to personal preference. And I suppose it comes down to your riding style too. Both are planted and sure-footed on the road, effortlessly putting down power when needed, and they both eat up twisties for breakfast. But I prefer a little bit more glary character over a sensible touring feel. And if you gave me keys to both bikes for a day, I'd probably opt for the Tracer 9 GT. It just felt that little bit more expressive, that triple motor and electronic suspension just taking it into the sportier side of touring. That makes it Tracer 9 GT 3, NT1100 2. Style. Now this is an interesting one. Beauty is of course in the eye of the beholder, But where the NT1100 looks like a touring scooter blob of grey, the Tracer 9 GT looks like a Disney character ready for an expedition. In terms of colour options, the Honda comes in grey, white or black, very muted, but the Yamaha comes in an R1M-esque icon performance grey and black, as you can see me riding, the tech camo grey, green and a Larry redline red. Nice. I'm quite a fan of the Tracer 9 GT looks, to put it simply, and despite an uneven front headlight where one is always on and the other is for high beam, it just looks all the right amount of transformer for me. If you count my preference as a score, then Tracer 9 GT 4, NT1100 2. Price. Okay, so based on today's pricing, the base model 2022 Honda NT1100 is £11,999. If you go for the DCT option, that bumps up to £12,999. This is as the 2021 Yamaha Tracer 9 GT is £12,300. For comparison's sake, the base model Tracer with far less bells and whistles is £10,300. Now, of course, you can delve into the bonus bits and accessories here, but I think we have to chalk up a win for the NT1100. It's just edging the GT out on price when you compare base model to the GT. But of course, if you go for the weighty yet mighty DCT option, it does become more expensive. But you do get quite a lot of bike for your money with the Tracer 9 GT. So do we have a winner? I mean, adding up the wins, it appears the Tracer 9 GT has just about taken it 4-3. And I think that's incredibly fair. My personal winner would be the Tracer 9 GT as well. I think it does it all. It looks good, it rides incredibly well, and it has tons of character. You could ride to a track day on the other side of the country on this thing, shock some sports bikes on track, and then ride home for your dinner. But in all honesty, these two are quite close. It does really depend on what you're after as a rider. The Honda is superbly capable as a long distance tourer. Factor in the DCT and the overall little bit more comfort you get on it, and this touring focus really does make it a little bit of a better option for perhaps a more subdued cruise. But both bikes are a great choice for most riders, so realistically you just have to go out and test them both if you're in the market for one. Now, this was a really enjoyable recap of two awesome machines, I have to say. If you want the full in-depth review of either of these bikes, make sure to head over to Visordown.com for a read. The link should be in the bio for those. Or you can just check out the video reviews on here on YouTube. If you did enjoy this video head-to-head, make sure you leave a like and comment which bike you prefer down below. I'd love to know what you think. Anyway, cheers for watching. Subscribe to keep up to date with us in 2022. Nice one for watching. See ya, bye, and ciao.